The open source community is up in arms with 3D printer manufacturer Bambu Lab. A massive controversy erupted after Bambu Lab sent an aggressive cease and desist letter to a developer who created an unofficial cloud access modification for OrcaSlicer.
The drama here is that the middleware that the 3D printer manufacturer is using is called Bamboo Studio, which is actually built on open source code under the AGPL version 3 license. Uh, but Bamboo Lab is drawing a hard line, stating that the license for the code is not a pass to a private cloud infrastructure. So, Bamboo Lab disabled direct cloud printing for third-party software, forcing users to use a middleware app called Bamboo Connect. This restricted users' ability to remotely control the printer settings like speed or temperature. Independent developer Pavel Jarzak created a fork of the open source software um, OrcaSlicer and made a modification that bypassed Bamboo Connect and restored direct cloud access, allowing power users to fully control their printers through OrcaSlicer. Again, the problem is that Bamboo Lab is saying that this illegal fork has basically sent falsified identity metadata to pretend it was an official Bamboo Studio software while communicating to their cloud servers. So that is something that would be very interesting for the open source community to talk about because in some parts, Bamboo Lab did use open source software to create their middleware. What Pavel did was he took the original fork before Bamboo Lab used it and then reprogrammed it so it could be used on the cloud. The problem is the cloud is a private server that belongs to Bamboo Lab. So then again, the cloud is needed for the 3D printers which people have already bought. So that is a conundrum for companies who want to use open source because you can, but as long as you if and make any changes, you have to put it back into the community so it could be built upon and built upon and built upon, so that it could continue to innovate. But on the other hand, you also want to make sure that you have um, some some safeguards, security, because you don't want just anybody to go into your servers, kind of thing like that.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's like I'm an open source guy. I love the whole concept of open source. I do understand where Bamboo Lab is coming from, but this could have been resolved uh, amicably, and there should be some operating openings because the last thing you want to have is a case where it's the company against the consumers, and that will never end well. Adobe, for example.
Why you always put Adobe between rock and hard place here?
Because Adobe's price have gone up and up and up. Yes, they have added more features to it, but they kind of like lock you in, and that's kind of that's not very nice for me.
Yeah, I can also see this case from the Bamboo Lab's eyes because they want to control what's entering to their cloud, right?
Mhm.
Of course, but then I also can understand the consumer side as well, how they want to have this some easier way or maybe more better ways. Yep. So, but who I am to suggesting to the Bamboo Lab, so better get their software is better for the OrcaSlicer. There's an example like OrcaSlicer, right? So just make like that. It's an open source, right?
At the end of the day, it's about control and it's also about the community. So how do you balance that? Louis Rossman, who is a advocate for right to repair, will put his video uh, in the description. Has a very good argument from his point of view about like what Bamboo Labs is doing wrong, and but Bamboo Labs, of course, has their own point of view as well. We'll put their statement as well below so people can decide for themselves also. But again, I think that this is something where you don't like if you buy something, you don't want to have to be forced to purchase something after sales, even though you already own it. It's like you buy a car, but you can't modify the car because it's remote controlled by the factory and you're not allowed to touch anything. But it's your car.
Yeah.
And that gets my goat also as well. I bought a 3D printer. I want to do whatever I want with it. Why can't I do that? Same thing like with tractors. Like John Deere in the US, people cannot fix their own tractors because it's basically it's a closed system, and the
Yes.
only person who can fix it are the John Deere official
Yeah.
technicians.
And they have the
And that's
consumer have to
expensive.
pay
Yes.
the consumer have to pay the repair cost, and it's already locked, yeah. So they
Yep.
cannot.
Yep. So I mean, I think this is something that could have been done.
Is it the future of the business?
Here's the thing. The 3D printing community and any other tech community are very passionate about what they do. They're very passionate about their brands. Apple, Lenovo, whatever. They're very passionate about it. You can build years of trust, but if this one thing can destroy that trust, then that's something that you have to deal with, you have to work with. Because consumers can move to other products. Brands cannot go to other consumers because like if the word is out that they don't like consumers or whatever, something like that, it's not good for consumers. Like a lot of people are using alternative for image manipulation, for video editing, all that kind of stuff. They're using alternatives now, and there's a lot more of it. With 3D printing, there's also a more open one as well, but it's something that has to be balanced. You have to balance the community and your control of corporate profits. Because, like right now, a lot of people are not liking the whole AI industry because of their whole we are making so much money, we have a lot of valuation, great. You're going to lose your job. That's not helping. That is not helping. If they were to say that, this is great AI, this is great. We're building AI, and if they just build it slowly and surely instead of rushing,
Yes.
FOMOing everything, and now everybody's involved. Google, Microsoft, Meta, they're all jumping into the bandwagon. Apple pulled out because they're smart. Um, you've got to understand that the audience that you're targeting, if they don't like you, it's going to be a big problem.
So basically, consumer don't like to be locked in, right? So they choose what they want to buy. They have their products, but they don't like to be locked in into. In order to get more features, you have to buy A, B, C, D, E.
Well, I don't think it's what Bamboo is doing. What they're saying is that their cloud infrastructure needs to be secure.
Yeah, that's another way to say that. I think.
Yep, that's true.
Just like imagine you buy a car. This is a different approach, yeah. You buy a car, but in order to turn on the wiper, you have to pay.
I think there's a German manufacturer who says if you want to have the heated seats, you have to pay something X per month. Tesla,
Exactly.
same thing as well. But I think
You have to pay an additional feature, but only from the manufacturer.
Yep.
You cannot buy the other features from the other brands.
Yep, from third party. Yep, can't do that. So it's a balance. So I would suggest you look at the Lewis Rossman video. You look at what Bamboo Labs have to say, and let us know. What do you think?